This
We're live.
podcast is live.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What's up, young bucks, old goats? I got Chris with me, my homeboy from the Talking Trash Can podcast. He's a friend of the show. He's been in here in the studio before. I've been on his show. Check out his podcast, Talking Trash Can, and we're gonna be talking a little trash ourselves tonight. My phone's going off over here. So, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing fine, bro. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me and having me on this podcast, bro.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
So excited.
So let's just get into this Corona thing, man. How you holding up? And we talked a little bit about it off air, but doing okay with this?
Well, like we were talking before, like as far as how we're doing with it, like we're doing, man. I'm doing what they're telling us to do. You know what I'm saying? So staying away, social distancing, washing my hands, wearing the mask. Like I'm trying to do what you're supposed to do to not get it. How about that?
I hear you. Yeah, me too, man. What else can we do, right? That's the only thing. We got to be smart about it. You told me you are kind of working normally, so like other than that, like a lot of other stuff hasn't changed for you on the personal.
As far as like work hasn't changed the schedule, but I mean the atmosphere and ambiance is way different, bro. Just my drive to work, my drive out of work, like the people who are not on the street, it's different. It's weird. I I normally live south, not with my girlfriend. I'm here at her house right now, but I had to drastically change where I'm living because my father lives in the house I am, and he's old age, has high blood pressure. So I limited myself from that equation to make the house safer. You feel me? So little things have changed where I miss them, I don't see them, but you adapt. I'm with my girl. It's good here. Like I'm doing okay as far as how the news is showing other things. I think I'm doing okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got some workarounds too because you could do like a, face. What do you call this? FaceTime or
Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah. So we still could kind of
It does help.
What's that?
It does help in time like this. I mean, I can only imagine plagues or viruses back in the day. Like you didn't. I mean, that's horrible being without communicating. You know what I mean? You and I probably wouldn't have talked like for a while.
Quarantine.
Yeah, we live in different times. I was hearing you guys talk about if it was fake or not. Like I'm not here to tell you if it's fake or not. What I'm here to tell you is I live in a society like you and I do, where we're involved in certain things that we have control of. Certain things we don't have control until either we get in our position to take control. But where you and I are at, taxpayers, like it's up to us to research and be like, okay, what's real and what's not? What precautions should I take? Which one I shouldn't? Like it is up to us because there's a lot of info out there and it's misleading. You know what I mean? I mean, Christ, you had people saying it was fake.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, dude. But it's been so much information has been given out that later has turned out to be incorrect or misleading or
Right.
just something that could cause more harm than good. Like there was, don't wear a mask, wear a mask. It's not airborne. It is airborne. Groups of 50 or less, groups of 10 or less. Like what who do I pay attention to, bro? Just I make up my own mind. I say this is the measures I'm going to take, and I'm going to go a little bit further. If I did too much, I did too much. My mom is old and she has asthma, so like I got her down here, and I'm like, all right,
You're worried.
Huh?
You're worried.
Yeah, bro, because she's the type of person that, that shit'll fuck up.
It's not like, we've been in situations before where let's say you have a cold and you're like, no, I don't want to get someone sick. So you like, you stay on the other side, whatever, hey, don't touch that. You have a cold. Don't use my cup. But when it's something that I can get and not know and then give it to my pops and he dies, like that's even more scary. It's a different type of thing that's making me more worried. It's like, you know what I mean? And the whole point of us not knowing, like, look, man, I get it. We're humans. I understand technology, but I also understand the ignorance of technology. How like I know how things work. Like when you're gonna take a test, it starts at the beginning. You can't ask me how I did when I've only answered 2 questions. I gotta finish the whole test. Then I'll tell you how I did. So medicine, discovering vaccines, trying to find out what's good, what's bad. It's like that. I've worked for medical in the Navy for a long time. Like, there is no answer at the beginning. I got to do a bunch of shit so then I can tell you, hey, look, this is what's happening. So I understand the frustration and fear from people, but we have to give it time. Like, you should watch the news on Monday and then just don't watch it till Friday so you don't hear the same shit Monday through Friday.
I've been trying to watch like once a day, maybe, because otherwise it's too much, bro. It's too much.
Yeah, you can get an update weekly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah,
a smart way of doing it, and then just read up on other stuff on the side. But don't watch fucking CNN, Telemundo, and fucking Fox News Monday through Friday, dude. Like,
it'll go
they're,
crazy.
they're, they're going to work for a purpose to get ratings and to get careers going, not to give you info. They never told you that, so you should know that. You know, shame on you if you don't know that's what they're doing.
They want to keep us glued to that fear and all that shit. Hey, a couple shout outs right here. Edwin, what's up, brother? How you doing down in PR? Is this Big Cheese 307?
How do you look at comments? I can't even see.
It should be on the right hand side.
Hold on. Here we go. Now I got it. Edwin Diaz. ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? What's up?
There
Big
you go.
Cheese. What's up, guys? That's Manny right there. Big Cheese 3071.
What's up, Manny?
And then we got Vanessa Miranda. That's my cousin all the way from Vegas.
Shout out to Vanessa on the West Coast.
Shout out West Coast.
That's cool. What are your thoughts on lifting the quarantine already? You want to feel that one, bro?
You know, look, once again, I understand that there are jobs to do. Like, you know, sometimes I'm at work and I'm like, come on, I'm trying to do something knowing that it's quarantine time, right? But as a business person, you try to get as much as you can done. So I get that they're trying to open the economy and they don't want it to go, you know, without not doing nothing. Like, once again, how would we know if it's safe to open or not other than doing it? So I say, look, you want to take this burden, whoever's doing it, do it. But take responsibility if it fails and learning from it and fixing it. Don't just turn your back on us and be like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, people have to understand that we don't have answers for everything, but we can try some shit. I don't mind the try. Like,
what do you think about, like, because it doesn't seem like the whole effort's been like very coordinated between the states and federal and everything. Like, they just take let's take one place that is not that bad in, and let's try it there, you know, or a few cities. Let's try it there and see
exactly.
how that goes.
Well, how do you do it, Randy? Look what you're saying. There's 50 plus states, right? And there's all these people we have to talk to. I mean, shit, I can't even coordinate with my brother sometimes and my mom. They live in the same fucking house. Like, imagine government. I said this on your podcast last time I wrote it. Government is hard. It's easy sometimes when it's less people, yes, but it is very hard to rule people. We don't want a dictator, but fuck, we complain at every minute we can that leaders are not doing their jobs. Like, I get it. You know, I get it. There's a lot of tweaking and peeking we can talk about why government's fucked up, but right now that we're all hurting, I do expect them to like have more answers or do more tests to see if shit works. Like, people can't get mad and say opening up will be bad. Like, how do you know?
Yeah. But it's just so different too, dude, in different places. Like in New York, no way. You can never do that right now.
Bad.
But maybe like some places that's not hard hit, start opening those places up and just to see what happens. You can always shut it down again.
You can always shut it down. You can say, hey, we made a mistake. Let's do this instead. Like, I don't see, like I said, I don't see I don't see this is a trial. We have to try shit out. I don't understand. We have to come together as a country, which is kind of bad right now. We're in the middle of like maybe an election, you know, so political views get in the way. Yeah, I get it. But there's an underlying issue, and that's COVID-19 is real, you know, like some people are not feeling it, some are, and that's where the different sides come where, well, we can open over here, well, we can't. Like, okay, we'll get together and make that decision and be like, you can, and see what happens.
Opening the beaches somewhere in, I think, Jacksonville. I thought that was kind of.
I think Florida, you know, our governor, Ron DeSantis, shout out to Ron DeSantis. Like, I didn't vote for him. But you know what? I voted for the other guy who got caught in a fucking hotel room doing a bunch of crazy shit. So I'm not one to speak. But this guy, he's doing okay for our state. You know, he's just a little leaning too much on like everything's fine when it's not. You know what I mean? Like, but I get his positive attitude, but he definitely needs to like shut down these beaches, man. Like, we don't need to be hanging out socially like right now. The fear is there that certain people. I was impacted by COVID-19 as far as someone dying. Like it's real for sure. So trust me, like be patient, and we have to figure things out. Like I said, if you can open and nobody gets hurt, open. But if you can't, fucking hey, don't open the beaches, man. Florida is not out of the woods, in my opinion.
And that's not like an essential thing. I get people are bored and shit, but damn, bro. If you told me not even a school, like if they open school tomorrow, I'm not sending my kids. Sorry. They can come get me, you know?
Right.
I'm not gonna that's it.
And that's why I say government is hard. Look how people think. It's tough to tell people not to go to the beach. Like you have to make a law. Like you can't hear advice. Like it's a problem. We've never talked about it on our show. We didn't talk about it, but you know, I always talk about evolution, how the beauty of evolution. I love evolution so much. I love to talk about how living things just changed into other things because of, you know, adaptation, or an environment was changed, or you're eating something else now. Like human beings right now we're not evolving physically, but culturally, and the way we think, we evolve with things that happen in our life. The human is a crazy motherfucker, in my opinion. He's a master of the universe. You know what I mean? So he's in this problem maybe because of himself, but he'll get himself out.
Yeah, we'll figure it
That's my
out.
opinion.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Of course.
What do you think about them, not to get political and shit, but about Trump? I think he's either withholding it or they're thinking about suspending the funding to the WHO, the World Health Organization. You heard about that?
He withheld money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on with that. I'm not going to deny. Look, I was in the military, okay? The president right now is the commander in chief, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? People like to say, he ain't my president. He ain't like, shut up.
Oh, he is.
You don't know how rules work. Like he is.
Mm-hmm.
Not liking what he does and not voting for him, that's fine. That's your right. Me personally, I listen to what they do. So what he's saying is what I would say if we were putting our chips on the table and we were going to divvy out the money. He's always been right on that. When it comes to the WHO, when it comes to NATO, when it comes to giving money, America gives way more than it should and protects way more than it should, and everyone else pays less. Fine, there's probably other ways of figuring that out and being more aggressive. We just have a guy that's like, hey, yo, give me the money. Like, and people get mad. But the facts are there. Like, we do give a lot and they're not doing their job. Like, somebody's got to be accountable for it. Put a spark on their ass, you know? Like,
dude, what I think
money is tough because the numbers don't lie. You know?
We like you said, we give a lot of money, more than anybody probably, to a lot of these organizations. And then the icing on the cake for me is that then everybody hates us anyways. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah. Well, because you go behind their backs and do deals and make the money back. Like, so there's always good and bad in every deal.
We have problems at home, you know, that we could be trying to resolve at home, you know, like the homeless problem, you know, all these drug abuse problems we have, and we're giving all this money to all these organizations and we're still the bad guy. That's kind of what, you know, upsets me about some of that shit. So,
all right, look, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
A lot of scientific people, a lot of people in health were talking that if we could just get everyone in the world inside their house for 2 weeks and no one came out, this thing will be over. I heard stuff like that, like little analogies of that sense, to make us understand that this is why it's hard, because no one listens, right? That was the whole point. So would you have felt okay if the government stepped in and just martial law, everybody get inside and there's tanks running around outside and not letting no one out for good 2 weeks to see if this shit worked? Like, would you have been okay with that move?
Yeah, because I basically did that. I would have been fine with it. But I kept saying that to myself. I go, why don't they do that?
Okay, that's a drastic move, but I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Right? It would look like a movie. So that's why I have to be okay with you opening up Kentucky or whatever. Like, it's not that drastic. My idea was more drastic. You just want to open a couple of states, like, go ahead. I was thinking about locking the whole country down with army outside and like, get your house inside. Like, that would have been crazy, but it could have probably worked. But people get mad about a lot of shit and have disputes over certain beliefs. And a lot of people would have been mad at that and called this guy a dictator.
Whatever, dude. It's a special time, man. You know, if that would have gotten it done, the problem is we didn't do that, and we kind of half-ass shut down. So we half-ass stopped it, and
Yeah,
now we're half-assing over a month now. If we would have done that hardcore lockdown, we probably would have been over with it. You know, but
probably.
who,
You're
you know,
right.
we can't run simulations. We don't know. You know,
We're not robots yet.
yeah. Maybe they have in another dimension. They shut down the country for 2 weeks.
Ah, yeah, good one. Love those alternate dimension shits. I'm a
Yeah,
better guy in those other dimensions, by the way.
me too. I have less gray in my beard in that other dimension. Dude, all right. We talked about it a little bit. Let's go. I don't have a hot tub or a DeLorean, but let's go back to the future a little bit. So you served 5 years here, and you were, I think you were in like similar to Geo, who I had on the show, like 99 to 2004, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much the Geo thing. Like I left in February and then he was still in school and he was going to graduate in June. And I'm like, I'm going to be gone in February. Like, no one's going to be here. So, like, I made him sign up before I left, so he could just be signed up. And Gio did the right thing, didn't deny the request. And when the time came, he left. So he left in June and he was not that far behind me. We did 5 years. He
Never,
did.
right?
Say what?
Never together though, right? Like you
No,
guys,
yeah, yeah. What happened was Gio went to the West Coast first. He went to San Diego for his first 3 years.
right?
And I was my first 3 years in Virginia. I was in Norfolk. I was in USS Wasp, LHD-1. Shout out to USS Wasp. And I was stationed there for like 3 years on that ship. I did like 2 little like med cruises where you go over to the Mediterranean and the Gulf with your ship. But in that time, Gio and I were able to request some family like requests that they never do, but they do it for brothers, and they moved them from the west to the east, and then we shared our last remaining 2 years in Virginia together.
He mentioned that. Yes, he did. No,
5 years, yeah.
did you say is the USS Walsh?
No, wasp, as in like a wasp. Zzz.
Wasp, or
WASP, wasp.
it's an aircraft carrier, right?
It's a little bit smaller. It's an LHD, meaning we have helicopters and like Harriers. It's not as big as the aircraft carrier, but it's the second one right under that before they become smaller. There it is right there.
That's just bad as fuck, bro.
It is. It's in the back. It's got a big door where the hovercraft come out, the LCACs, the Marines come on board. There's like room for 3,000 Marines on board.
Holy shit.
They don't live there throughout the year. They only come on for 6 months when we leave, and they come on board. We pick them up in Camp Lejeune. Hoorah.
Yo, so this is like a little aircraft carrier, I guess.
Pretty much. There's about 1,000 Navy on there, 1,000 people.
So what's the difference between this and a full-blown
The carrier has about I don't know, probably a little bit, way more. Like it's huge. Aircraft carrier is like a city. There's times you go there, your career, you don't even meet everyone on board. You feel me?
like a cruise ship type?
Yeah, you can't see everybody. It's like a cruise ship. You get lost. My first day on my ship, I get there. My chief tells me to check in, tells me to put my bag down, and tells me, go get lost. I'll see you tomorrow. And like I walked around the ship, and sure enough, I was lost. Like she's like, get to know this place, It's gonna be home for a while. I was like, all right. And then before you know it, like it was home. I knew every nook and cranny on that boat.
What did you think the first time you saw this beast in person?
I was intimidated when I first saw it walking down the pier, because you have to walk down the pier to it. It's not right there. You pull up and you walk. I'm like looking at it. Like anytime I've ever seen, it was funny. Like I heard a soundtrack in the background. There really wasn't one, but I've seen so many movies that it was like a cinematic view. Like, oh my God, look at this big, like the Titanic. Like, look at this big fucking ship. It's not luxurious like a cruise liner. It's fucking a name. There's fucking missiles on there and fucking aircraft. Like, it's awesome. So it was very overwhelming and intimidating at the beginning, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was crazy to get there and like be in the real Navy. Prior to that, those 3 months I had been in boot camp in school, and it was all like do. Like everyone was Joe Navy, shining your shoes, and you get to the real fleet. Get your ass up here, motherfucker! Like the real shit. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Hey, let me give a couple shout outs. 90MF Comics, my boy Hialeah Comic Bros in the chat.
Hialeah Comic Bro.
I think we got everybody. What's up, guys? Yeah, dude, I would be fucking intimidated when I saw this shit, dude. Look at this thing, man.
I
That's
mean,
bad.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I get there. You're only supposed to be there 3 years, and I tried to extend for 4. They wouldn't let me, but I loved it so much. I didn't want to leave. I was like sick leaving, like sad, like you're pulling me apart from where I've been living at. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Chris, what 9/11? Can you tell me about? Because you were there for that, right?
I was in Virginia. What happened was I joined in 99. So by the time 9/11 came in 2001, I had already been in, and we were moored, which is like tied up on the side of the pier. So it was a regular day. I'm gonna leave at 2:30, 2 o'clock, whatever, and I'll go home. So I was doing like X-rays on someone. So I'm putting a little X-ray in the guy's mouth. I'm like, open wide, bite down, and then just like the movies, you see people behind you in the P-ways, which is the hallway. They're like running. I'm like, what's everybody running? And I told this guy, get up. He had like the little toallita on his neck still. You know what I mean? Like, and an X-ray in his mouth. And we running down the hallway to get to the TV. And sure enough, just what everyone had seen, I walked right into the first tower on fire, and then the second plane hits right when I'm looking. Boom! I'm like, I'm a native New Yorker, like I'm. Well, look at this, no tattoo here, but New York, to me is, New York, bro, like where I'm from, and where I was born, and to see it like that, it was very like shocking. I didn't know what to say. Like I thought it was fake, bro. I was like, this is fake. This is some fake shit.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. It was very shocking. But I was on the ship. We were at danger for a little bit because there were threats that planes were also coming to the base and all that. There was a bunch of calls. That one's another Pandora's box to open up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could go a long time about that. Yeah, I just wanted to know like the situation. Did shit start going off in your head at that point when that shit's
You know
going?
what, man? I'm gonna tell you something. I never left. I left the streets, but I took the streets in my head with me. You feel me? So while I'm in the Navy, right when that's happening and I'm witnessing this, I already know that the base is gonna go on lockdown. And once that happens, there's no in or out. And I got my kid at the daycare, and I'm like, you know what? I might get in trouble for just leaving, but I'm gonna. I ran. I waited. As soon as the tower gets hit, I wait a little bit, and then I ran to my office. I told the guy tomorrow we'll come back. I got my keys and I left. I made it out the base before I locked down. And I was outside the base, so I was happy that I was outside the base. Now I can go pick up my daughter at daycare, and I went straight home to watch the news. My chief called me. She was all mad. I'm like, hey, I had to pick up my kid. Somebody could have picked her up, but I lied, and I went to get off the base because I didn't want to be on lockdown. I don't man a gun. I don't do nothing. I would have to be in a room just waiting. So I didn't feel like, okay, I left my post. I'm like, no one's gonna get dental work right now. I'm going home to pick up my kid. So I went home and I waited, and sure enough, like, what happened after that? It was crazy. You felt patriotic a little bit, and you're like, what can I do? So as soon as February came up, we took off and we left over there to the Gulf, picked up the 24th MEU, which is the Marines, and took them to fight. Flew around, dropped some missiles. Like, we did our thing from a ship, and I kept the readiness for dental for the ship. So everyone on ship, my job was to take care of their teeth.
And how long does that lockdown last when they do that, Chris?
I mean, that one went on for almost, I want to say 24 hours, bro.
So what would happen in a situation like that? Like you'd have to arrange for somebody to
You'd have to call. If not, your chief would have to get signatures to get you off the base. It's just a chain of command. You just can't get up and go and be like, hey, I'll call you later. You just can't do that. There's no calling out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I learned in the Navy, it's different. I had to get there, and my first year was very tough because I just didn't want to convert. You know what I mean?
You didn't want to toe that
I didn't want to be like also like military. I was just like, what up? Whatever. Let me get this paper. But it wasn't like that. They got that shit out of you. You know what I mean? So there were things that I learned the hard way, but 9/11 definitely made me feel patriotic. I didn't join because of 9/11. I was already in, but being in made me feel a little bit better about my decision of why I joined the military. You know what I mean?
What's your best memory or coolest thing or like the one thing that when you reminisce you're like, man, that was dope, that time we did this or that time I was here, whatever?
I would have to say passing through the Straits of Gibraltar, where you could see Spain and Africa on each side of the ship. Like we go real slow. Like That's a fantastic sight to see it and to be on that ship while it's doing that, you know. And then the ship will always take all the stories. There's so many things you could say. Like there were times you can go outside, pitch black, and see the stars in the middle of the ocean. You probably don't even know where the fuck you're at. But you're like, all right, I'm out here looking at the skies. I'm in the middle of the fucking ocean. Like you could never be here again in this moment, in this place, ever again, this dark. Unless you're on a Navy ship somewhere, you know what I mean? Cruising. So things like that, I'll never forget. You know, my experience on the ship has transcended over to the real world, and I like to apply things I've learned there. You know what I mean? Being ready, having your place of work ready to go, your house safety first, like taking care of those around you. Like all that is what you do on a ship, or you'll die. If you don't do your job, one of us don't do it, we'll all die. That's the concept.
I was trying to find a picture of that, but I can't to
Of
show
what?
of this ship in the Straits of Gibraltar. You said, right?
Yeah, that's when you come in through the Atlantic into the Mediterranean. There's a little gap there between Africa and Spain. It's called the Straits of Gibraltar. That's you just cruise right through there, and you can see both countries simultaneously. It's awesome.
Can I find
I've
one?
been like before the Twin Towers fell. Let me tell you, man. We would go on a Navy cruise. They call them cruise, but it's like a float, and you go over there, and you have 6 months to tour countries. So, you know, in 2000, before the towers, I went to Spain, I went to Portugal, I went to Africa, Greece, Turkey, Italy, France, Palma. I went to Bahrain, you know, beautiful stuff like that. It was what navies were all about. And then when the towers hit, like I went back again, and we only stopped 3 places, and they were all military bases because life was different there. It completely changed the American traveling off his ship. Like you were a target. You know what I mean?
So this thing you're saying, you were still working, but it was not under wartime, so there was
That
more.
was in 2000. The towers were still up. We weren't really at war. We didn't go after anyone. So yeah, it was kind of lax. I think Kosovo was happening or some shit like that, but it wasn't as big for us.
If some dude was asking you right now, and I'm asking you a lot of the same questions I asked Gio because I just want to see if the answers are any different. If some dude,
I'll punch him in the face.
huh?
No, go ahead.
If some 18-year-old dude right now was like telling you, "Hey man, should I sign up or should I go do something else?" Obviously, it depends on the case of everybody and you know what they got going on. But would you recommend it, or would you say, "Nah, dude, go do something else"?
I say, hell yeah, go.
So it's obviously been something positive for you, and I know it like Gio, a lot of your cousins, a lot of I don't know, it's
Yeah, I
like
have a lot of
shit.
cousins that serve. I would tell them to go, Randy, because the only negative experience you can get from going to the service is the one that you created because you're a dumbass. You didn't allow the morphine to happen. But what they do, first 3 months of boot camp is, I would always say after high school, everyone should graduate, go to boot camp, and then go back to the real world. Just boot camp at least. It's just something that you can't buy out here, man. You just can't buy it. You imitate it. There's brotherhood out here. There's team. There's sports. I get it. I do it now with you guys. You know, I have it, but it is very unique what happens in boot camp to you as a person, and then your experience in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing I regret is not doing better. But the government of the United States, the military, the armed forces, they fucking take care of you, dog. They take care of you.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
man. I thought about doing it at one time, but yeah, it could provide a lot of great. Well, there's school, there's money, there's a career that you could be prepared for. You know, there's countless things, dude. Discipline for people.
Everything. Structure.
You know,
Look, I went in and purposely shaved my head and got a skin tight bald fade. So I'll look good for boot camp. And motherfuckers took it out when I got there. Like, no, we're all the same. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're all the same. Nobody's special. Nobody.
special, dog. Like, and you don't learn that. You know, you learn that there. They don't. It's not like they force it because you signed up. You know, it's not like jail because you made a mistake. Like you signed up, you volunteered, so you should know why they're doing this to you. You should know why there's no hot water right now. This is the United States Navy. You don't think they paid their bill? It's purposely done. Like I had, I was fortunate to go in at 22, and I was in there with a bunch of 18-year-olds, and they just didn't get it.
We
Those
would be.
couple years helped me.
I'm sorry. We would not be as soft as we are if everybody had to do that. Like you said, go hit a boot camp. We wouldn't be like so in our feelings and like, oh, all this shit. We'd be toughened up a little bit more, dude. Maybe we should all fucking go to boot camp. Um, so, dude,
Yeah.
5 years is the minimum, right? That you sign up for 5 years, right?
You sign up for the job and contract you pick. So most of them have a minimum of this, a minimum of 3, a minimum of 2, a minimum of 5. It depends what you're doing. Since I picked medical and dental, like the minimum was 5.
Does that give in general, I'm not trying to get in your business, but like when you
Right.
meet a requirement like that, does that give somebody like some sort of pension too, or retirement or anything like that? Or
Well, you scoring what your score depends the job you get. Obviously, the higher you score, the better the job.
Mhm.
And upon signing, if you, I recommend anyone who's going to go sign up, go with someone who's been in because recruiters are doing their job just like everyone else. We go right back to what I said at the beginning of the show. Like, hey man, he's got to do the job, right? So
Mhm.
he's gonna sell it. If I could find my recruiter now, I'd punch him in the face. Okay, because he lied. But I made phone calls before, and people advised me and told me, look, make sure you get this. So I would recommend that before you leave with a job you want and school. But that's not a problem no more because now they pay free tuition when you're active duty.
Gotcha.
But you
Mm,
know, it's definitely an experience I'll never forget that I constantly think of. It constantly makes me better to think of it. It's not like a depressing thing, like, oh, I missed the Navy. It's more like, hell yeah.
I
Like,
did.
that's helped me. You know what? There's a lot of reasons why I went personal, but one of the main reasons was the I needed to see if I can do something I've never done, which hurts me all the time I do it, and that is leave my family. Like leave behind people I love that have never done nothing to me, that I love them. I need to see them daily. I left. That was the toughest thing, if you want to know, that happened to me in the military was that. Being in that ship, seeing those stars was beautiful, but 2 seconds after that, I was like, damn, I miss my mom, my dad, my brothers. Like, how do you get that back?
But those
You know?
type of situations are what make us, dude. Like stepping out of our comfort zone and doing things. Like,
Absolutely.
even this right now, right? Even this that we're doing right now, it's not something we do all the time. Do a live podcast or whatever. It's something out of our comfort zone. But those things are good. They're good
They
for.
are.
They make you stronger in other area. So, you doing that back then, that probably helped build a lot of your character, that you have now because you went and you did that. You got out of that nest, and did your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of needed that push, had that safety net. So I needed to see the world, but, without someone there. You know what I mean? Like you dolo now you by yourself. So it was cool, man. It's. I'm glad you asked that. And those I'm reading comments, Vanessa. Like listen, man. There's nothing wrong with serving this country. You know what I mean? I can't speak for other militaries in other countries, but the United States Armed Forces, like you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong. They don't want you to sign up so they can fuck you up. They want to change your life for the better. Yeah, they'll benefit from it by having a huge army and a huge navy, but you benefit too. It's a two-way street with the military, bro. You can't act like you don't get out and you're not recognized. I'm a veteran. I have a veteran ID. Like I get discounts.
You get a discount at
There
manofactionfigures.com.
you go. See?
Uh, check it out, manofactionfigures.com. Gonna plug that real quick. We're still operational. The store is closed, obviously, but we're still fulfilling orders online on the website. So it's free shipping in Florida, by the way. Just order at least $50. We'll ship it for free in Florida. Uh, Had to throw that in. All right, Chris. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit.
Hold on one second. I'm reading a comment there. Like it says, highly a comment, bro. I would love to have my kids join the Navy. Like that's awesome. Like, you know, talk to them. There's nothing wrong with the conversation. Most of the times the kids don't know that that's an option. They think that's for people who fucked up or got either go to jail or go to the military. Like it's not. It's almost like college. It's why I kind of did it. And I'll answer Vanessa's question that you regret not doing it yourself. Listen, I regretted not going to college. And so that's why I joined the military. Like I had to do something. So to her, I tell her, hey, if you're not in the military now, it's too late. You're a mother. I get it. But find something else that's your thing that replaces that regret. That's what I would say.
For sure. All right, dude. I'm gonna shift gears unless you have anything else you want to talk about on the military aspect.
That's all I have to say about that.
Well, thanks for your service, dog. You know, I always
You're
appreciate everybody that does that, man, because I know
Yeah.
it's a sacrifice people make. Yeah, they get paid, yeah, whatever. You know,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
it's not.
I appreciate it also even out. Like when I was in, I knew there were people hanging out doing shit like this and I'm protecting them. Now I'm out hanging out with you, they're protecting me. So they're out there too, and I salute them. You know, it's hard. They're away from their families, but yeah, they're also going to be great people. You know what I mean? When they get back.
We forget that there's these shitload of people that we don't know. We don't know. You know, there's not a face to them. We just know there's people, but we just take that for granted that they're out there protecting us. Basically, dude, that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
goes down, that's who's gonna go protect us. So, you know, shout out to everybody who's served and everybody who's serving out there for us. And shout out to all the medical people right now.
Yeah. First responders, all those people, doctors, staff at the ER.
Yeah, putting it on the.
Even if you're inputting info like at a desk, like you guys are working through the front lines. Like it's crazy how they have always been appreciated in my heart because I did medical in the military. I did dental and I did corpsman, which was kind of like assisting the doctor. So my head, I have a lot of medical knowledge just from prior working in interventional radiology before the Navy. So that's why I chose it. It's my field. I love it. Also, I do automotive now, but I don't know shit about cars. I'm just selling parts to get money, but medicine has always been my love. So like, I was proud to serve, but also these people that are here that don't have to leave are serving right now. They are like at danger all the time. Shout out to my brother Mario, who's works at ER. He's there first, the front line when they first get there.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? So it's like Javier, my cousin Javier. He's a nurse. He's constantly suiting up and suiting back. Like he's high risk. Like all these guys. My cousin Stuart, my cousin Lenny, firefighter. Like shout out to everybody. Y'all niggas are doing it. They're the ones doing it right now.
For real, man. Those people are laying it out on the line. I get a lot of love here for the military. Dude, I'm gonna have to rewind the tape for a second. So you're automotive, you're selling parts, car parts, but you don't know shit about cars. Do you wish? Because I wish like when I see those dudes, that's intake manifold, dude. You know, the guy
gasket, turbocharger. Yeah, no, I kind of like it now that I could kind of roll with them a little bit, but sometimes I'm tested. There'll be a guy who'll be like, "Tú sabes la pieza que abajo de," and I'm like, damn it, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. I just memorized the names of these parts. Think I know what an intake manifold is? No, bro. Sounds like something you fold with a man, but I don't know.
No. Do you wish you knew more?
Like, you know what? I'm just fucking around because I like to talk shit, but I am learning it. I'm learning it. Sometimes in between breaks, like especially now, I take time to like, I'll map out. All cars are different, like the body, but they have the same kind of basic structure of how cars work. They all have fucking, brake pads, fucking disc hubs, and fucking front stabilizer bars. Some don't. Like that type of shit, I'm learning it now as what a mechanic would learn if he's fucking, I have a cousin who's a mechanic. He knows all that shit by heart, But I also like, I can sit down with someone and talk about all the blood vessels, veins and arteries, and someone will get lost. They won't know where the iliac is at. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I want to learn more of it, and I do appreciate my job for that. I'm learning something I never thought I was gonna learn.
Yeah,
Parts.
I ask because I wish myself that I had enough time and patience to fucking learn and fix shit. Like that's one of my goals later when I'm not working so much to like just have my little shop and I'll fix, I'll
Yeah,
brake pads, I'll change
never
my
too late.
fucking do shit like that. Um. Anyways, that came up when you said that. I was like, I gotta ask him about that because
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I'm below the belt.
so let's shift gears for a second, dude.
Sure.
I know we're both into sports. How much are you missing sports in general? I know you're a fight fan, MMA, boxing. We've been together to watch some fights. Um,
Yeah, that's my shit. I'm missing that a lot.
but how much you missing it?
Like, there was a couple of big fights that fight fans wanted to see in the UFC. They had canceled it 3 times because of injuries, and we're finally going to get these guys to beat the shit out of each other, and this happens. And so, in that sense, like I kind of like I'm starting to miss a little bit of UFC because it also had brought a little camaraderie with me and my boys and my girl with certain friends that we got together all the time to do these UFC fights. And some of them I've done with you. So that kind of thing I miss. But to say that I'm going crazy, like I'm okay. I'm not going crazy. I want them to be safe. I want fans to be safe. So I'm not in a rush.
I feel you. I'm the same way, dude. I mean, sports is like a background thing in my life, where I'm working. I'm like, oh shit, he just hit 2 home runs yesterday. Cool. I'll check tomorrow, or oh
Yeah.
shit, I just went for 40. It's like a kind of like a soap opera type thing. That's
Yeah.
background. You check in on it. Fights were fun event type things. Big boxing match, UFC fight. I feel bad that I couldn't go to that last one at your house, and that's the last. I think that's the
That
last.
was the last fight. That's right. And we watched it horribly because I had a.
Was that the one they did in the empty arena in Brazil?
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Okay. That's the last time. What do you think about them? They keep talking about they're gonna keep going and fight on an island and shit,
Yeah.
like fucking Enter the Dragon type shit. What do you think about that?
Okay. First of all, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, because that's what I think. Enter the Dragon, or like Mortal Kombat or some shit. But what's happening is what I just told you. That fight that we were all anticipating, the president of the UFC is like, I'm not gonna let no one down. This can't be a curse that these guys can't fight. They're about to fight. And he went desperate, and I think he tried to do that whole island shit. But if you know UFC in the contract with who they're with, they're under Disney, I think. And I think
Yeah.
Disney came and stepped in and was like, hey, look at here, Doug. You know how we do things in Disney? And they pulled the plug on that shit. But that would have been fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I think it's still up.
Everybody would have been watching because there's nothing else to watch. Even fringe UFC fans or
Now, here's
people.
my thing. Here's my thing. I do feel bad for the company if it's gonna lose revenue and it's gonna go down and whatever because they don't want that either. It's not like we desperately want this fight because we don't want the company to die. We just want the fight. But if you tell us, hey, we're only doing this for the company, that's why they're doing it. They need this fight because it's gonna revive what during this time.
Mhm.
So I kind of get it. It's like once again, we're back to the beginning of the show. Like there's a business guy doing things around as much as he can during this virus, and then there's the love for the sport. I love the sport, but I don't want people to fucking get fired and lose their jobs and hurt people because they thought we wanted it that bad.
Yeah, Dana White wants that bread bad.
It's the bread, bad,
Yeah.
and I get it. It is a big fight, but the guys will be. Some guys don't want to fight. Some do. Like that's already psyching out the sport. You're making the guys that are super good who want to be careful look like pussies. That's not fair. It's not fair.
So let's speculate a little bit, dog. If you were to speculate right now,
Love speculating.
what's going to happen with these major sports? And these are guesses. We're going to go back later when we meet up to watch the first fight, and we'll replay this, and we'll see how close we were. Tell me when you think boxing's coming back, basketball, football, and baseball. Just
Okay,
wild guesses.
boxing and contact sport like that. I if it comes back, it will come back no arena, like no people, and they'll be fighting. Obviously, with some kind of updated testing where they know everyone's safe in the ring because there's going to be blood splattering everywhere and shit. They're basically going to swallow each other's sweat. So you'd have to test them. That could come back easy because it just requires those two. Now you're talking the big sports like basketball and them. It's kind of tough because you'd have to test everyone. And then once again, you can't have that arena. You're gonna build an arena where 6 feet between people. Like what the fuck? Like so, I see the big sports with arena and fans a problem. I see that if you want to let it live and continue sports, then you will have to adapt, evolve into the new way of playing this sport. If you love it, but to say that you're trying to match it exactly how I experienced it before, like you're fucking crazy. How are you gonna do that? You're just gonna remove one thing? You can't. It's a completely different, like a different thing you have to do to produce a basketball game for people on TV. I don't mind watching NBA football on TV if there's nobody. I never look at the crowd. I don't even care if it was fake. You know what I mean? It's just a filler for commercials and shit like that. But you know, whatever money you're losing there, you got to know how to make it somewhere else. But it could live on until it gets better. But how are you gonna have arenas filled with COVID-19 floating around there, man?
Nah, dude.
Yeah, but we don't have COVID here. Okay, someone flies in from Japan to see your fight. Fuck everybody in that arena. Like, come on, man. You can't do that.
I think you nailed it on the head, dude. The combat sports are going to be much easier and much faster to get up and running because it's just two dudes. Hey man, you down to
Yeah.
fight?
Or everyone play tennis.
Yeah, it's shit like that. One-on-one competition is going to be easy just to get two dudes or two gals to be down, to
Yeah.
get to do it. But yeah, those team sports, talk about a football game, dude. Like you got like 120 dudes, and then like trainers and coaches, and I'm thinking about like my season tickets, dude, for the Dolphins. I'm like, I'm about to call those people and tell them, fuck it, dude. I'm
Be
not gonna.
fun.
I mean,
I
that's
did the same thing for a concert. Like, look, man, I trust what's gonna happen, but you don't need to hold my money while we do this. I'm gonna take my money back. When you're back to ready to sell and be back in business, I'll pay you back. But I'm not gonna leave my money out there in places thinking that they'll fix their shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that. Look, I'm reading here. It says here that basketball in November, football in October, or baseball in August. Yeah, those are projected dates. I love that. That comes back. You know, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, this is the projected stuff that we're gonna try to do. So come November, if everything's ready to go, basketball is back in business. But that could easily be like, hey, we're pushing it back. Turns out, because we don't know yet. I'm hearing that COVID-19 likes to do a U-turn and shit.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that we still have to wait for, and people cannot rush if they just want to make money. That's why the government should step in. That's why it's been stepping in, throwing money out like crazy, because they know it's like, hey, look, we trust you, but you need to feed us if you want us to stay indoors. I'm with that. I know there's money out there.
Yeah, where's all this money coming from, dog? That we're getting? Where's all this money coming from?
Listen, man, it's a big clock, a lot of gears. You know what I mean? Think about it like this. America was born in 1776. Did I say that right? Is that right?
I think so, dude.
I don't even know, bro. And it's not that long ago, man. It's not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? Countries that have been around for a long time, like America's baby, new kid on the block, and he's gone through so much and matured so much, and the United States has done so much that now everybody thinks we're the number one in 1787. We're the number one country in the world for a reason. Some of those reasons are we are the new kid on the block. We didn't come with old baggage and old traditions and old bullshit. So that kind of helped us a little bit to get to the top. When you have people that are like, you can see it now in business, the younger guys are sweeping the old guys because they want to stick to their old tricks, and that shit don't work no more. So America is the example of a new country showed up and is on top of the world. So I'm okay with it. I like it. So being that it's new and we've just been doing this shit for like 300 some years, like we have a lot to learn, but we can do it because we're the young country.
Yeah, the other thing to look out for, I always say this, but like republics, they don't really last like a lot of them don't last way over 200 years. This was going for a while, dude.
In
So
the old days,
yeah,
in the old days without internet and Wi-Fi, like yeah, I get you. The good thing about that example is that America could be in trouble if it didn't have the technology. If he was just this country in the Roman times, yeah, you can map it out when we're gonna fall. But
mhm.
Rome fell because they didn't have Wi-Fi
Right.
or tablets.
They had tablets, but they had to fucking hit it with a
Yeah,
hammer.
yeah. This country, there's a lot to complain about, but there's a lot to be grateful
For sure, bro.
for
Every
sure.
I dude, I don't forget that, bro. I'm
Yeah,
not
something as simple as 911. It just doesn't work anywhere. But here, oh, did you call 911 accident? Oh, I'm sorry, and they're outside your house. Like, sorry, like that's this country.
yeah. No, everywhere else is fucking Flavor Flav. 911's a joke in your
We're we're already closed.
for real, dog. Let me hit some of these comments real quick, bro.
Do it.
Back on November, Hialeah comic, bro. I'm guessing you mean the new season and they just forget about the current season. Baseball arcs, dude, the season's supposed to be in September. That's gonna bleed into the next year. They may just call that shit off, dude. Uh, the shortened seasons, that could be interesting. Yeah, Edwin, I'm gonna try to get my money back for sure. Um, I heard things will not be back to normal, even if you can even say that until 22. I've heard that too, Vanessa. I've heard
Yeah,
this is gonna change shit.
normal is a big word to throw around. We're
Yeah,
gonna adapt to our new normal, maybe.
I'm not familiar with this movie. You familiar with?
On Netflix, crazy. No, I haven't. Is it good? Well, now I'm gonna watch it.
Tell us about that movie, Hialeah Comic, bro. Um,
But Rome lasted for 1,000 years. Yep.
it's one of the longest ones, right?
I mean, it's the example we have to use. What else can we use if we're only humans? We've lived here. Like, we have to pick Rome when we talk about big fucking empires. But they didn't know half of the shit we know. They didn't. They just didn't, And look, America, like, you familiar with the Alexander Hamilton play that's so famous and shit? Like, Hamilton, familiar with it? You familiar with it, right,
Which
Randy? Hamilton, the play, Hamilton, whatever. It's the Broadway play Hamilton. It's about Alexander Hamilton and
let me
or
look
what
this.
the fuck his name is.
I'm uncultured sometimes.
What I was trying to get to was
About it, I want to know. Educate me.
these this play is about Hamilton, who Aaron Burr was the other guy. They were in the fucking United States government in this country like 100 years ago, I think, just 100 years ago, and it was okay and by law, and these motherfuckers didn't even have a problem with it. If I have a problem with you, we're gonna go outside and duel, take 13 steps, turn around and shoot our gun. Whoever wins wins. That happened, and Alexander Hamilton got a fatal shot and he died, and the dispute was over. Like, that's us. That's man. That's how man handled things for a long time. Just kill him. And it was okay. It's only until recently we changed laws, and now we're like, you can't just kill a motherfucker because you had a dispute with him. So the whole like, we're turning soft is because we're just exposing how much bullshit you've really been doing behind closed doors. Like, look how we just looked at murder like it was okay, dog. You could do it, it was okay. You can't do that shit now. If Donald Trump gets mad at fucking Bernie Sanders, you can't walk outside and turn around and blast the fool. Like, we know that you can't do that now, but that shit was existing in our country 100 years ago. So we've come a long way.
What's the rule right now? Motherfuckers got to come into your house, then you could kill them, right?
Right?
They got
Hold
to
on,
be.
hold on. Fucking earpiece. Go ahead.
I said, what's the rule now? He's got to be in your house, then you could shoot him. That's the only way you could really.
And if that, sometimes you get in trouble for that shit.
Yeah, but I think you're safe though. If he's inside your dwelling, not
You
your,
know, like,
he's in your fucking kitchen making a sandwich, you could kill him. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's the rule. Yeah, dude. Look, man, I never want to like say, man, this guy shouldn't have. People work for things, people deserve things, but at a certain point, when you're making like what Bezos makes, and I saw on Amazon, so I have to be grateful for that too. My business, we saw on Amazon, but
Yeah,
I don't know how many millions of dollars that guy makes a day. Like, what are you gonna do with that, bro? What are you gonna what are you trying to do? What else are you gonna buy, dude? What else are you gonna and then I don't want to go off on a tangent because this show's about you, not about me, but then like the government subsidizes some of his people because they're not making enough money. So we as taxpayers have to pay some of his employees. I sound like Bernie Sanders because he's the one
it's
that,
crazy.
but that's just crazy to me, dude. When I hear that, like that dude makes so much money and then the government still has to pay some of his employees because they don't make enough to make ends meet. He also owns Whole Foods, I believe, and they were doing some shit now where like they were asking some employees to pay back their vacation time so other employees who got sick with coronavirus. Fuck that, man. You should be able to pay those people, dude.
That's the problem with the way I think that we've molded capitalism. Like it's good, but it has this little gray area. It's weird how the rich operate in this country. It's kind of like
Limit,
don't ask,
right? There should
but
be like a limit.
not so much a limit, but if you pass the limit, then it starts pouring on people to help them get there too. Because we know,
Cap.
I kind of look. I know what a world is when some are rich and some are poor. Like I've lived in that world. I know it too well. Okay, it's not that bad. So if you're offering me a different world where no one's poor, I'd like to try that. If you're offering me where everyone's poor, I don't know what that's like either. All I know is this one where some are rich and some are poor. Like, you society forces us to try to get rich because it's the way they make us feel. That's how life should be.
We're losing that middle class a little bit. I think it's what's happening.
I'm sure you can get some people in there and tweak and peek it so everybody can eat. I'm sure. I'm also sure that this country started with a certain type of people, and there's some people that just don't want to ever let go, and that's okay. But that's the difference between Rome and America. Like, Wi-Fi is exposing the shit. I mean, you and I are having a fucking podcast, and we're talking about shit that the government does. Like, how do we know? Because we're in the era of information, my friend, where maybe greed won't go away, like Alia said, but for sure they'll kick it in the balls more often than before. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have power now to kind of tell more than we did before. Don't say nothing. Like now we kind of know shit. Hey man, did you hear this motherfucker? Don't vote for him. Like we know now. So I don't think greed will ever go away. But what we can do is make it smaller that it doesn't thrive as much because I do believe that if you change laws, you make people live different. I live a certain way because that's the law of the land. If you change it, I'll be a different person in a year. Just the facts.
For sure. The information age, like you said, is good because I've seen just with this COVID-19 thing, um, people, I can't remember who they're talking about. Like they were like, "Yo, where's Jeff Bezos right now? Where's this guy right now? What's he doing?" And then boom, in a couple days, that comes out in some story.
Yeah.
They're giving money. It's like so easy to call people out right now like that.
Think about it. Think about it. That means,
there are people helping.
but think about it. That means before we had internet or like that heavy, that means if I do the math right, motherfuckers have been doing this shit hiding for a long time, thriving. So it's only right that if information technology exists to make us aware, you can only do the math and say, okay, it's only a matter of time before I lift the curtain and Wizard of Oz gets exposed. A matter
Exactly.
of time. Quick.
Let's dude, I want to shift gears for a second. You were on the chat last week when we were talking about the moon, and I thought your take on the moon landing thing
Oh yeah.
was pretty interesting. So, there's people on some people say that shit's fucking fake. We never went to the moon. There's a
Right.
lot of people that are like, yeah, 100%, we went. We talked about it last episode in depth, but your take was
Yeah.
interesting. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I've heard some other podcast people when I was digging into moon conspiracy, because I saw some of those ones on Netflix. I do see the videos and the pictures, and I was just thinking, comparing America, the only country I live in, the things that they've done, the things that they've lied. There's conspiracies that are bullshit, and there's some that have become true, and so I started thinking of of what this guy has said, and also giving it my own thought and saying, okay, look, it makes perfect sense that, okay, you can get to the moon mathematically, you can get there. You know what I'm saying? There's no problem. We build a fucking space station in space. Trust me when I tell you, we can get to the moon. Does it cost a lot of money? Is it hard to get there? Yeah, absolutely. So I think that the grand plan of racing and getting there first and figuring out put a lot of pressure on them to go. When they went, in that year, yeah, we didn't have the best cameras, or God knows how do you record in the vacuum of space. And in my opinion, I feel like they were not prepared for that. But coming back from the moon and not having that shit, exactly, it makes me feel like America is that type of country that's shady as fuck. I'm not surprised if you tell me they filmed that in a studio to give it to the people at that time. See, you're a person in 2020 seeing this video and like, oh, that shit looks fake. Yeah, but in that year, them motherfuckers believed it. So it was the work of a human. Like, yeah, fooling you. Like, absolutely, it looks fake as fuck. But there's so much other shit that you can look up that has data that proves that these motherfuckers launched and went to the moon. What's the big deal? Like, you can put a telescope, you can buy a $2,000 telescope, go outside, look at the moon, you can see the fucking, it's there. Like, it's not easy, it's not hard to get there. It's just, what I think is they fucked up, and they were pressured to put out the fucking information that they flew, and America fabricated a fucking moon landing, dog.
So to be clear, you feel confident that they went to the moon. You just think they didn't have the technological capability to film that shit, so they had some film.
I'm sorry, maybe they did have the technology, but something in the gray area that I can't prove is what didn't allow them to record, and just pretend they took their camera, didn't bring a table, whatever. They just didn't record. So whatever they were doing or in the studio for people while they're watching on TV, like, I don't know, but I just don't think that going to the moon is that hard. I think fabricating a video is hard, and that's why you have proof of, look, the video looks fake. But the moon rocks that we have in the planetarium and the other stuff, people that have floated closer over there with antenna, there's a Japanese satellite that flies around it every day. You can see the fucking moon 24 hours a day. Japan has a satellite. Like, the moon landing's real. Just, I'm not with the video. I get it. It does look kind of fake and shit, but that doesn't take away from all the work. You know what I'm saying? The people who went and came, like, this whole conspiracy that every person, up to like 2,000 people, are involved and just don't say shit. Like, man, once again, I believe in humanity, dog. And the first thing I learned is that motherfuckers like to tell the truth and snitch, and they don't like to hide secrets. They like to compete and be bigger than the other person. Like, that's our trait. If you're telling me we're not like that and we're keeping a secret, like, you're crazy.
Yeah, I could see that. It would have to be very elaborate, where only people know only certain pieces. But you have to admit that there's a lot of weird shit about it, and it's
like what?
That nobody's gone back, dude. That's just so weird, man, and so long.
Well, I'll tell you why we haven't gone back.
Huh?
I'll tell you. Here's my reasoning why we haven't gone back. Okay. For one, we've been in this shit like storm with our space program as far as vessels. If you notice, like that whole Challenger, whatever space, like the Endeavor, all that model was discontinued. We don't have that shit no more.
That was a piece of shit. That was like
it was pretty good. It was pretty good, but
big shit though. Only.
So the whole time we've been flying with the Russians and shit, going up and down with them. You know what I mean? Until this year, Elon Musk gonna put out some shit. We're gonna have our brand new fucking whatever.
Bezos too. He's got some shit.
Right. So I feel like that part, the funding part, the part that puts the money down, all this shit. Because people think the government gives money to NASA, and they don't. There's a lot of the shit that we talked about earlier in the show is happening. They don't give a fuck about space travel. So that's one of the reasons why no one's paying for your shit to go to the moon. there has to be some kind of revenue. Like, if that's why I said in your show, if China was like, we're going to the moon tomorrow, like, they're not, America would start preparing right away, because now it's a kind of territory and they're trying to probably own the moon, or the space police is coming. Like, that's smart. You got to start thinking above the atmosphere. So we're going to go back to the moon. We will take pictures, but right now you can't just assemble a team, go to the moon, because you want to prove me and you, this guy in their garage, that is the moon landing real. Like, did you know that outside of our Earth, there's like a little, like, there's millions of metal shit that we've launched that's floating outside of the fucking Earth. Like, it's also becoming hard now to find a pattern in the rotation to get to the fucking moon. You just can't go to the moon. You have to plan it. And there's no money. So that's my take on why we're not going. You see that first picture right there on the top left? That's a simulation of space junk that's floating around our Earth because of the shit that humans have been launching in space, and it just gets.
Yeah.
So things like that also prevent flights to go to the moon. It's got to be special. You got to find the gap in there and fly out of there.
Right here. You see this little area right there?
So it's not that I'm defending, because I do think the video is shitty. What I'm just trying to tell people is that our space program and around the world have advanced so much. They can easily go to Mars and come back. The problem is that no one's funding this shit. No one's funding these nerds that want to create shit that's going to cost trillions of dollars and it might not work. No one wants to fund that.
Yeah, the public interest has to be there too, like it was at that time. We want to beat the Russians. John F. Kennedy went up there and said all that. Hey, we're gonna get to the moon.
It's another conspiracy.
Yeah, big one. What do you think about? Real quick, the JFK.
Wow, what do you mean? What I think?
Was it just Lee Harvey Oswald, or was there another shooter? Was he
No.
acting? Was he a patsy?
JFK. They killed him. A lot of people killed him because of the whole, communist Cuba thing. You're familiar with Operation Northwoods? You know what that is?
Operation what?
Northwoods.
Maybe. Refresh my memory.
When Kennedy was president, the Joint Chief of Staff and all the motherfuckers in intelligence, they all came up with a plan on how to attack Cuba and Fidel. They were going to stage attacks in America and in Cuba to kill people and make it look like the Cubans were doing it, so we can attack them.
Shit. Huh? False flag.
False flag. Okay. They wrote this out and gave it to Kennedy. He looked at it like, you're out of your fucking mind. Vetoed that shit because it had the Joint Chief of Staff signature on it. Okay. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. And a couple months, I don't know how far along after that he gets killed. Like, I don't have to paint this picture for you. Okay. Some people didn't like what he did. They called him soft. And I've been around the hood where someone don't like someone. It's easy to take them out, dog. Okay. It's that easy. And that's what happened. You can study it and tell me what happened, but I'm telling you the big picture. Okay. They were going to do something to invade Cuba. He told them, no, you're out of here. That's how it went.
Dude, the 60s, about our last episode, it's amazing, dude. All the shit that happened in the 60s, man. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr.
People were still alive trying to run our countries. That's why we're in this shithole, man. That's why internet will get us out when we expose these motherfuckers that were thinking like that. What do you mean you're going to do this? Thank God for the president. Like, you imagine, like, we got a plan. We're going to kill our own people, dog. You're crazy. Like, America does that. People should know that about their country. That's why don't be surprised about the fuckery in the government. Just don't believe bullshit. Like, they're hiding aliens or there's a lizard in charge, like shit like that. But yes, humans are evil. Believe that. They will lie to you.
We don't need to be lizards to be evil.
No. Lizards are nicer.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to ask you for some favorites. You ready? Unless there's some you want to hit up on these conspiracies we touched on here briefly.
No, I'm good. Give me the favorites.
All right. You're going on a desert island, okay, for the rest of your life. There's a DVD player on this desert island and electricity for the DVD player, so you can take 5 DVDs. So these not only they gotta be good, but you gotta be able to watch them over and over. Leave out the porn. Just give me
Gotcha.
regular movies.
Top 5. Here we
Yeah.
go. You ready?
Yes.
The Shawshank Redemption.
That's a good ass fucking movie.
Half Baked.
For your comedy to lighten shit up, right?
Laugh.
All right.
Next one is I would have to take Braveheart.
Freedom.
James Cameron's Avatar.
When is part 2 coming out to that shit, dude?
And to finish it off, I would have to put Goodfellas.
I like that one.
That's 5.
I'm glad I asked this question because I don't have any of those in my top 5, but those are fucking good ass movies. I love. I
Yeah,
pretty
in
much
the desert, you're gonna need those movies, man.
Goodfellas is based on a true story, I believe, of dude's name is Henry Hill.
Henry Hill, yeah, he turned everybody in at the end.
Informant. I think he's still around, which that's the most shocking part that they haven't killed that guy yet, but he's still around. All right, yo, I'm gonna do the. Hold up, Edwin. Yeah, for sure, dude. Everywhere that we go, fucking animals start dying, plants start dying. We're a fucking plague, dude. For sure. My boy Hialeah.
We're the new thing, you know, we're the
virus.
That comment makes me feel good because we are animals. Recognize that you are a primate, that your ancestors once lived in a cave, right? So you're the Homo sapien at the very end. You're the guy gonna fuck natural order, natural Earth, right? Because you're gonna create these towers of fucking robots and then become cyborg and then leave the fucking galaxy, right? And spread your fucking knowledge to the world. But that's you. That's kind of like the first mammals. They love being mammals, but they were like, bro, one day we're gonna fucking die and this fucking cocksucker's gonna come out. He's gonna change everything. Like, yeah. But before that mammal, it was another animal that said, damn it, we're gonna fucking die and this cocksucker. And then before him, and then it goes all the way back a million times. Everyone was complaining that we're fucking up the earth. So when we're done, the next thing was gonna say the same thing. Like, we humans will look at the next thing that's cyborgish and robotic and say, that motherfucker's fucking up the galaxy. Wish it was just like us back in the day with nukes. Like, that's gonna happen. So that's how you have to look at life. Like, you're in the middle. The Homo sapien has done so much shit, yeah, but only this much compared to how long Earth has been alive. You've only been alive this much and you've done all that, like, you know, you're in the middle of what you're gonna create, bro.
So do you subscribe to the theory or idea that we're just sort of like a cocoon to a butterfly that's coming later, that we're just like a launching pad to something, another next evolution? We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. All living things, if we're animals, like Edwin Diaz says, and we are connected to every living animal, and all of them do the same thing. They're a launch pad. Like, you love frogs, well, guess what? They're not the original frog. There was another animal before him that made him that. We like chickens. Chickens weren't around back in the day. They came from another animal. You like horses? You like to ride horses? They didn't come from the original. You get what I'm saying? There's an original something way back. Yeah. So you're always going to be the launching pad to the next thing. Absolutely. You might not think it's animal-like, but humans might give birth to the android or artificial intelligence. That's the next living fucking thing that will destroy the planet.
That's where I was getting at.
Yeah, if we die right now and tigers take over, just give them about 1 million years and they'll fuck up the planet.
Yo, speaking about tigers, you seen Tiger King?
Love Tiger King. Fuck Carol Baskin.
That bitch.
Nah, it was a good show.
I haven't seen the extra episode they put out. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't. What is it about?
I haven't seen it. It was like after they did the initial run, they, it was so popular, they went back and they did one more. I haven't seen that one,
I
but
gotta see it. I gotta see it.
that shit was crazy, man. I loved
Yeah,
it.
bro, it was.
I gotta tell you, bro, I think that guy, Joe Exotic, I think he could have made it big, dude.
Yeah, bro. He had a good thing going with his reality show.
Like Duck Dynasty, those
Yeah,
people.
absolutely. He's a colorful character, bro.
There would have been a market for
Yeah.
that shit, man. Anyways, he's fucking crazy, but I think he got fucking screwed a little bit too,
Yeah.
man.
He belongs on TV.
Yeah. All right, let me go another favorite. You ready?
Yo.
TV series, or they could be Netflix series, series. Let's just call them series. Top 5 for you.
All right. First one. Damn, I'm trying to think of old ones so I don't shit on them. I'm a fan of True Blood and Game of Thrones.
Hey, dude, Suki is mine.
Yeah, suck it. So True Blood, Game of Thrones, I like.
Game of Thrones, I love that shit.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Good night, old man. Hi, Aaliyah.
Good night. Hi, Liam.
Thanks for joining us, brother.
Past the curfew. Series. I like the Heroes series. Remember Heroes?
Yeah, I never saw it, but I remember
No, good, bro. I like that.
powers and shit.
Damn, there's so many good shows.
Right? You've given me 3?
Yeah, I'm giving you 3. Right now, I'm going to give you my last 2, which should be over the top, but I can't even think right now because there's so many.
Over the Top is fucking rock.
That's a Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
God bless. What can I come up with? Let me see. What was I watching right now? I was watching. God, there's so many. I'm blanking out right now. Favorite top 5. Can't shit on The Walking Dead. It's one of my favorite.
It's a good one. Were you a Sopranos guy?
I didn't watch Sopranos. Can you believe that?
I never watched it either.
Don't think like 1 or 2. Let's put that on my top -5. I like some of the Netflix shows like Punisher and Daredevil. Some of those are some good ones, man.
You a Breaking Bad guy?
Breaking Bad, Jesus, there it is. Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad. That's definitely top 5.
Right.
Thank you for bringing that up.
That was a good one. Yeah, no, that I liked it too, man.
I watched them all. It's hard to pick because I watched so many.
You like Stranger Things?
Stranger Things. I can't believe I didn't say that.
All right.
Jesus, man.
It's, man, because of nostalgia, especially
Don't steal my top 5.
because of our age, like a lot of
I'm a big 80s guy, bro.
Yeah, a lot of that shit resonates with us. I love the little things they do, like when they show the neighborhood, there's like a Reagan Bush.
Oh my God, Narcos. Jesus Christ.
I've seen that one, but I've heard that's good. Money,
watch that.
It's good.
Gotta watch it, man.
Yeah, here we go. We got a Narcos fan over here.
Yeah, Narcos. Breaking Bad was great. Yes, it was.
Yeah. What are some of your favorites in the chat? Let us know. All right. How about give me your top 5 favorite athletes of all time? Any sport.
All right, ready? LeBron James.
Before
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James.
All right. James.
LeBron James. LeBron James. Motherfucking Mike Tyson. Bo Jackson. I want to say.
You have
I'm naming a famous baseball player that I love.
Because Bo's baseball and football.
Baseball and football.
Yeah, you're a boxer and a basketball player.
Right. John Jones, superb athlete, except he does cocaine on the weekends.
What's up with John Jones right now, dude? Rehab?
He's a great player in the world, and he's fucking up, man.
Fuck.
And OJ Simpson before he kills wife.
OJ? Holy,
good athlete.
The juice. Hell yeah.
I can hear you there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You hear me?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay. All right. Here's my last top 5 I'm going to ask you. And because I'm going to be doing this episode soon, I'm going to be doing a hip hop episode where I put everybody like in a bracket, kind of NCAA tournament style. head to head, and then like whoever the panel is gonna vote, and the people in the chat are
Right.
and it's gonna be hip hop albums. So what's your top 5 favorite hip hop albums? Not the best, but your
My
top
5.
favorite,
Okay.
you or whatever.
Yeah. Top 5. Number 1. Easy Does It by Easy E.
Hell yeah, that's the first
My
album
first one.
I heard, dude.
Yeah,
Actually,
mine too. My first tape.
that's the first tape I had, bro, ever, and I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. Number
Crazy.
2. All Eyes on Me by Tupac. Double CD.
Hell yeah.
Number 3. Doggy Style. Snoop Dogg. Number
Classic.
4. Life After Death, the double CD of Biggie. And number 5.
Is that the one that came out when he died?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the number 5 would be Get Rich or Die Trying by 50 Cent.
Classic, for
Yeah.
sure. Made him.
There's more, but those are my top 5.
Sweet. All right, dude.
I've had a
What
good time.
what else are we gonna talk about?
I don't care. What do you want to talk about? Let me know.
Let me see what else I got here, bro. I've asked you your top 5. You were born in the Bronx, but did you spend more time in the West Coast
Yeah.
than the East Coast?
Yeah, until the end. So, I left at, like I told you, I was very young. And then I did my elementary in the West Coast to like 7th grade, and then came to Miami 8th grade and did the rest here.
Did you ever think of going back over there? Do you have good memories of the West
I
Coast?
have beautiful memories. Vanessa's from Vegas, where I went back. I've lived in Vegas after the military. You know what I mean? So, I always visit back. I got to go back more, but yeah, I always keep rooted there. I keep connections to where I'm from, for sure.
Dude, I've already said this like a bunch of times. When I turn 50, I want to go to Vegas. I've never been. So
You got to go, man.
I got to take some tour guides though with me. So I already enlisted Gio.
That's it.
I can enlist you, and I got a couple other people. So
Let's do it.
8 years from now, we got time to plan.
All right, we'll do it, bro.
I want some tour guys to walk me through that jungle.
I'd love to. We'll do it. We'll hang out. We'll do it right.
That'll be a trip, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, I'm looking at like you've been all over the place, bro. You've been West Coast, East Coast. You were in Ecuador
Went to Ecuador. Hell yeah.
for a little while.
A little while. We were going to try to live there. It just didn't work out, We're too Americanized.
So is it really hot as fuck in Ecuador since it's called Ecuador? Is it
The
fuck-
equator. Yeah, it gets hot. I mean, it's like any other place where the fucking sun hits, bro.
Is it hotter than here? Do you remember?
You know what? At the time, I don't remember, but
We have humidity. I don't know if they
yeah,
have.
I'm sure there is. It's kind of like the same kind of temperature almost, but it's a little tropical, like kind of place. You know how it is.
Yeah.
South America's.
Chris, thank you, brother. Thank you for coming on and chopping it up with me, dude. It was a fucking trip, bro.
Me too, bro.
Next time, I want to do it back on the Talking Trash Can podcast in person. When this shit fucking
Yeah, man.
ends. Check out my voice podcast, Talking Trash Can, on YouTube. Subscribe. I went on there. I think episode 6. I was
Yep.
on there. But he has a shitload of good episodes with interesting people. I like the military ones, dude. I just whenever you have somebody served and you guys talk about that shit, that's why I like to ask those.
Good, man. I want to thank you for having me on here, man. I really appreciate it. I had a good time. I love your format. It's fucking awesome. Like,
thank you, bro.
I am gonna keep doing the podcast. We're gonna just do the last 2 that I haven't edited yet. I'll put them out, and then if time doesn't allow us, I'll start doing what you're doing, and we'll do Trash Can like this, man. All right, and have you on.
Keep that shit going, dude. Don't let this stop you. Hit me up later off air, and we'll talk about this shit. I can give you Actually, my boy Hialeah, who went to sleep, he's the one who kind of taught me what little I know about doing this shit. So, you know,
Nice. We'll have him on.
yeah, for sure. He's a cool guy, super
All
interesting.
right, man.
He was
Randy, man, love you so much, man. Thank you for having me on your show, bro. All right.
fist bump right here. All right, brother. Thank you for everybody who joined on the chat. Thank you
Yeah.
everybody watching on the replay. Remember to like, subscribe, and check out my boy Talking Trash Can podcast on YouTube. Chris, thank you, brother.
Peace out, guys.
All right.